Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are playing a game. I basically came up with a game. The game is called Expectation versus Reality, and I thought this would be a really fun way for me to kind of talk to you guys about modeling and give you a bit of an insight into the industry, but also like we can have some fun and play a game. I've come up with 15 statements, so I'm going to read the statement and then I'm going to say if it's an expectation, so if it's kind of something that you would kind of expect to happen but it's not really happening, or if it's a reality and if that does actually happen. So yeah, I just thought this would be fun. It would be like a fun thing to do for my channel. So yeah, here we go. The first one that I've got is you'll spend most of your time modeling when you're a model. This is definitely an expectation. You do not spend most of your time modeling. I feel like you spend most of your time waiting around, and models do actually have like quite a bit of free time. It comes in waves. So say if you're booked for like 2 weeks, say if you're doing Zara e-commerce for 2 weeks and you're flown out to wherever to shoot the e-coms, then you're literally working all the time. If you're in India, like how I am now, I'm working quite a lot, so I constantly am having bookings. So I would say my time is like half and half. I've got half of free time where I've got some days off, and then half of it is where I'm really busy, but it kind of comes in chunks. There were points in my career where I was definitely waiting around a lot and I was just being a lot more selective. So I would do like a few bookings, even a year. But then now I'm in India and I actually want to have the experience of working more and meeting people and all this stuff. So I actually want to be working a lot. So yeah, I would say that's a bit of a mix. I know that's so annoying because it's the first question, I didn't really answer it. But I would say it's an expectation or reality depending on what country you're on and what your goals are and stuff like that. Awful that I couldn't answer the first question. I couldn't give you guys, we're off to a great start. I couldn't give you guys a clear answer in the first question. Okay, next one, I'm going to try and be better. This is my Libra rising, like constantly being able to see two sides of the scale. Okay, every shoot feels glamorous. Expectation. This is not reality. Sometimes you are freezing, you are hungry, you're exhausted, and you're standing in the field at 6 a.m. in heels. It is not always glamorous. However, my Libra coming back in, there's definitely a moment on every shoot where you're like, this is it, like I feel the most glamorous. So I would say it's also a reality because it is glam having your hair and makeup done and having loads of people like do your nails, do your hair, do your makeup, like make a fuss of you. That part is glamorous. And then there is like a moment where everything comes together and you're in your zone and you're shooting and you're just like in your zone. And at that moment, I would say you feel really glamorous, but it's a moment. There's so much that goes on to get you to that moment. So yeah, I would say it's definitely more of an expectation. The bigger the brand, the more relaxed you feel, an expectation. The reality is the bigger the campaign, the more pressure you feel. I feel like I don't sleep the night before I have a huge job, and it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot more moving components happening and a lot more people. Everything's bigger, everything's more expensive, money's been pumped into it, you know it's like a big deal for the brand. So I'd say the bigger the brand, the less relaxed you feel. However, most of the time, the bigger the brand, the more professional the shoot will turn out to be. So if it's like a smaller brand, they might not know how to kind of do things. I've been on shoots with a lot of brands that are babies, they're like a year old, and the owner's also a baby in the business world. So they are just confused, it's a mess. They've obviously got a lot of practice and a long way to go. But me, who's like more of an experienced model, I can kind of see that and be like, oh, like I would do this differently. Not that I'm judging, but yeah, definitely. I think the bigger the shoot, the more pressure. The smaller the shoot, the probably maybe a little bit more patient you have to be, maybe. I don't know. Modeling is about looking good, expectation. The reality I've got written here is it's actually acting. Modeling is acting. If you're a model, you're an actress or an actor for sure. It's about posing. It's actually about problem solving. It's about endurance, physical endurance, mental endurance, having to deal with other people. It's about confidence and it's about taking direction. I would say that those are all things that modeling is, more than it being about you being good looking. If you want to be a successful model, yeah, initially you have to be scouted based on the way that you look. But if you actually want to have a long-standing career, then it's about all those things that I just listed. and it's about being good with people. Okay, so I'd say that's an expectation. Then we've got, you will constantly be traveling to exciting places. Reality. That is true. Nobody talks about the airport delays though, and the jet lag and the living out of a suitcase. But it is exciting, it is fun, it is a reality. You do travel a lot with modeling. I've been everywhere. I've been in Europe, I've done the UK, I've been flown to Thailand from the UK, I've gone to Spain, I've gone to Paris, I've been to Milan, I've been to India, I've been to Dubai, I've been to the States. So yeah, you do travel a lot, and you travel nationally in the country. Like now I'm in India, I'm always on a flight. Most of my bookings are out of Mumbai, so I constantly, whether it be a day return or I have to stay the night before, you go to Goa, you go to Delhi, you go to Jaipur, like it's definitely a reality that you will constantly be traveling to exciting places. What are the perks of the job? Every makeup artist and photographer will be lovely. This is a huge expectation. Honestly, guys, most of them are, let me just put that out there, most of them are nice, because for them to have gotten so far in their career, if they're actually doing not just bridal makeup and they're actually doing shoots, then they will require some kind of like social skills or people skills, because most of the time the client just wants to get the job done and kind of wrap it up. So then they do want to be with people that are quick and easy to work with, most of all. However, it is still an expectation, because not every makeup artist or hairstylist, I've met makeup artists and hairstylists that are literally bigger divas than the models. Yeah, like I've met some really, really big egotistical people. When I say big, I mean their ego's big. I've had a shoot for like a huge brand once, and we were actually shooting on the beach, and the hairstylist just walked off into the sea and like was enjoying his holiday, and I was just like, what is going on? I've had another one recently, the one that I told you about, that screamed the whole hotel down because she didn't get her own way because I left at the time that I was supposed to leave. So yeah, honestly, you will come across all different kinds of characters, and I find most of the time it's not even the models that are the divas, it's actually other people, whether it be the client or the makeup artist and stuff. So yeah, can happen. Getting signed means that you've made it. Huge expectation. Getting signed to an agency does not mean that you've made it as a model. It doesn't mean anything really. It's just the beginning. With modeling, everything is just like very touch and go. It depends on your look, what market you're in, what country you're in. It depends on if the client kind of wants what you're offering. It just depends on so many things, guys. I can't even. So just because you're signed to an agency, it doesn't mean that you've made it. I know so many models that are amazing, that have been signed to amazing agencies, and they work like once a year. And then I've been signed with other models that have been signed to a really small agency, or even a big agency in terms of how many models they actually have, and those girls are just working every single day. So yeah, it really depends on, there's so many moving parts when it comes to how much you're going to work. It's a huge risk. That's not to put anyone off, because you kind of just have to keep moving around and doing things until you find a flow state. But yeah, for sure, getting signed does not mean that you have made it. It is an expectation. You will constantly be surrounded by glamorous people. I would say that's somewhat of a reality. I would say that most people in the fashion industry kind of are quite glamorous. You definitely meet some characters and people from all different walks of life, and it is really interesting to connect with all these different energies and people. I find it really cool to hear people's stories and stuff like that. So I would say, yeah, if you're in the fashion industry and you've made it quite big, then yeah, you probably are quite a glamorous person. So I would say that's a reality. Photo shoots are mostly taking photos. Expectation, no. I would say photo shoots are mainly prep, waiting, outfit changes, touch-ups, and then there's the taking photos. So I would say there's a lot that goes into photo shoots that's nothing to do with actually taking the photos. I'd say taking the photos is the smallest part of the day. If it's a campaign, because then so much goes into it. If it's e-coms, then yeah, it's a big part of the day because you're constantly just shooting. But if it's a campaign, then a lot more goes into it than actually taking the photos. The perfect photo happened naturally. Expectation. In reality, it took 200 photos to get that perfect photo. There are awkward angles. There's someone screaming from across the room. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's like a hair that's gone MIA, gone in a completely different direction. There's an eyelash that's falling off. Someone spilt their drink somewhere. Someone's tripped and fallen over. It's not me. Hopefully that never happens, but someone has tripped and fallen over. So, you know, it did not, the perfect photo did not happen naturally, guys. No. Modeling is an easy job. Expectation. Modeling is not an easy job. People think that modeling is like, oh, like I'm just a damsel in distress and I'm a fairy, and then I turn up here on set and everything is beautiful and everyone's nice to me and I'm beautiful and I made everything look amazing, and you know, like, no. That's no. The hard work that goes into modeling, it's invisible. It doesn't get seen, but we know it is there. I physically am exhausted after a shoot, you guys. Like, I've had to do strength training and lift weights and do Pilates and eat well and eat more to be able to maintain my physical body, because I physically I couldn't do things, guys. Like, they would put me in certain positions to do things and I would literally, like, my body would cramp up. I remember, and then I've actually had to work on my posture and do yoga and Pilates and stuff for like years so that I'm actually flexible enough to model. Like, that's insane, but it's so true, because they will literally put you up there and be like, make this pose, and they'll just randomly show you this picture and you've just got to do it. So really and truly, it's physically exhausting. I remember I did the shoot actually at Cannes Film Festival last year, and I like bent backwards so far, I'll try and put it on the screen, and like leaned on the railing and then looked up, and then my friend Shaquille, who's a photographer, he came up to me the next day and he was like, there was an influencer chick and she wanted the same photo, and he was like, yeah, like, okay, cool. So he went 2-3 flights of stairs up and he was like, okay, pose the way that Shivani was posing, so like we can get you the same picture. So she couldn't do it. He was like, she literally couldn't do it, and she was like, how did she do that? He said to her in the nicest way, he was like, that's like, she's a professional model and she's almost trained her body to get into these positions as well. Like, it's so true. I think people just think, oh, like, click, I just want this like this, but actually there's so much that goes into it. Also, mentally it's exhausting as well, having to deal with so many personalities, so many moving parts in terms of politics, personalities, like, you know, not getting pulled into things, because the model will get a blame for a lot of things. For example, if they want a break, like the rest of the people, like the hairstylists, makeup artists, and they've all decided they want a break, but the client's being really harsh, they'll just blame it on the model. Like, the model is the scapegoat constantly. So, because we, I guess, have more of a stronger voice in that situation, because we're the one that's the face of it. So they know if we say we want a break, there'll be a break. But if they say it, there won't. So you've got to watch out for all these little things when you're shooting. And then you get home and you're just flat out tired, like physically and mentally exhausted. So I would say that modeling is a really hard job. And then the traveling, the lack of sleep, shoots here are 12 hours, in the UK they're 8. Just being outside in the cold sometimes, or the heat, you can get really sick. Constantly just eating different foods all the time, and stuff like that. So it's a lot. Like, it looks glamorous, but I would say it's not an easy job. I'm not complaining, because I love my job. I feel so lucky and fortunate and like blessed to be able to do it. But I'm just giving you the reality of the fact that, like, it's not just like, oh, you turn up and you have your hair and makeup done and then like the shoot's done in 2 minutes. Like, it's not the case. The industry is all competition. I would say this is an expectation. For me personally, a lot of great opportunities have come from who I'm friends with. Yeah, I think people just wanting to help. I think repeat clients that really like me on a personal level, and outside of the shoots we'll do dinner and stuff together. Yeah, I would say that that's definitely an expectation. I would say there is a level of competitiveness. Obviously, it is one of the more insecure industries probably in the world. So you do definitely get people that almost want to trip you up and stuff like that. But, you know, for me personally, I am quite good at attracting, I feel, what I am, which is that I'm not insecure. So I seem to like attract people that are also not insecure, and like, I just love meeting people and being on a journey with them and finding out more stuff about them and stuff like that, and building like nice friendships in the industry. So I would say I've been quite fortunate on my journey, and I do think you attract what you are. So maybe that might be the reason, because I've done a lot of inner work. But yeah, I would say it's not all competition for sure. I mean, there is a lot of it, but it's definitely changing a lot. Okay, then I've got, you need to be the most beautiful person in the room. I would say this is an expectation. I think you have to be the most reliable, professional, and confident person in the room. And I would say that your personality matters a lot more than people think. Your personality can really carry you in this industry. So I would say you don't have to be the most beautiful person in the room. I mean, beautiful, it's so subjective to what people think beautiful is. Like someone could think a tall, blonde, fair-skinned girl is beautiful, and then someone could think a shorter, dark-haired, dark-featured, darker-skinned girl is beautiful. Like it really is so subjective. Final 3, I think I've put some bonus ones on here because I feel like we've gone over 15. Success in the modeling industry will automatically make you happy. This is an expectation. I've written here, whatever insecurities or struggles that you had before often come with you unless you work on them. I would say that your success as a model, it doesn't automatically make you happy. Yeah, you get a little buzz. Like when I did the cover of Tatler, I was like, damn, like, whoa, this is amazing. And sometimes I'll think about my accomplishments in modeling and it will lift me a little bit, but it is just a little lift. It doesn't necessarily make you just feel happy for the rest of your life. I would say it's more of like a little lift that you can get here and there, which is also amazing. But I would say that's more of an expectation, and actually to achieve happiness you kind of have to look within and work on things. But it is nice and cool to be a model, I can't lie. There's been a lot of great things that have come with it, and it is just nice to be in that space and that energy, and to be recognised as a model. It is nice, I won't lie. But deeper, you know, happiness, it doesn't come from a title of like modeling or anything like that. The last 3, I've got Fashion Week is one long glamorous party. Expectation, no it's not, it's exhausting. It's a lot like constantly having to talk to people and make small talk. Everybody's like looking, everybody's comparing. You have to put a lot of effort into what you're wearing in terms of brands, like it's just, yeah. And people are quite cold and don't really talk to each other at Fashion Week. I've kind of completely come away from it. I'm like, it doesn't resonate with me anymore, because I just find it boring. That like, it just feels very superficial and shallow. So yeah, if I enjoy in the future the brand or the clothing and you ever catch me at Fashion Week, don't come and be like, you said you were never going to go to one, because I'm not saying that. If it's to, you know, appreciate the art, I would go. But yeah, it's just, otherwise it is quite draining. So yeah, I would say that is an expectation. That's for me though. For some people, I do see them at Fashion Week just having a lot of fun and partying and having a really good time. And I would say the part about it being glamorous, a glamorous party, that is true. Everybody is like really dressed up and stuff. So I would say that part, yeah, it is quite glamorous. You'll know what you're doing the whole time. Expectation. You'll never know what you're doing the whole time when it comes to modeling, because you're constantly going to be meeting different clients that require different things from you. So there's no way that you can have it down. Generally, I would say my confidence in myself as a model is big. I would say I definitely feel like I do, for the majority of part, have a foundation where I know what I'm doing. I don't feel nervous to go on set. That whole nerves to perform has completely gone. I never go onto a shoot thinking I can't do this, because I know I can, and I know that I'm going to come out of it and they're going to be impressed by me. But that's because I've got a lot of experience and I've got the base level down. However, like we did a shoot a few weeks ago and they turned the whole place into a circus, and that's so cool, but I can't really ride a bike that well. I can ride one, but not like one of those ones where 2 or 3 people have to sit on it and keep going around and around. So in that situation, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, guys, I can't do this. And sometimes my balance isn't the greatest, so when they put me up on something, I'm like, guys, I'm gonna fall. Like, you know, I'm scared, I can't do this in heels. So I would say you don't know what you're doing all the time, definitely, because you're just constantly getting thrown into different situations, which is, it's fun, but yeah, I wouldn't put so much pressure on yourself to know everything, for sure. Also, I was watching America's Next Top Model, the whole recap thing of it that they've done years later with Tyra Banks, and I was just like, it was triggering to watch. Like, I was like, whoa, like this is nuts that like they would make models do things like this. And yeah, like it was quite triggering for me to watch. I don't know, I didn't like watching it. I watched all 3 episodes in one night because I was literally bored out of my brain, but found it very interesting. And it was very interesting for me to watch as a model, like what the way the girls had like eating disorders, and they kept getting told like they're not skinny enough and all this stuff. Like, it was extremely toxic. I think with me personally, I really enjoyed the job, and I do love my job. But for me, I'm someone that's very much like, no, if this doesn't work for me, then no. Like, I'll put my foot down and be like, no. So I don't kind of abide by all these like weird rules. And I think actually the industry can do with more people like me, because I feel like we're almost put in this industry as souls to be like the change makers, you know, because a lot of it's just rubbish. Like, I was watching that show and I was like, that is horrible. That's a horrible way to live. That's most definitely not my reality, because I don't stand for it. And fortunately enough, I've not really attracted anyone that's kind of spoken to me like that. The only time I've been told that I'm not good enough is by my agency, when they said that you need to tone up, or you need to, like, she didn't say lose weight, but she was like tone up. And that in itself was enough of a red flag for me to actually leave the agency, because I was like, no, like, I'm not taking this. I'm not gonna hear this from anyone really. So yeah, I left, to be honest. I just left. I mean, that wasn't just the reason that I left, but it definitely, I think if I been younger or a bit of a weaker mindset, that could have really affected me for life or triggered an eating disorder. But fortunately, I'm quite confident, and I was like, no, girl, like, I'm fine. I look good, honey. Okay, then I've got the last one. You become immune to rejection. You don't. It is tough being rejected, but the way I kind of see it is, I kind of told myself very early on in my career that it's not personal. If they're looking for someone that literally has the opposite features of me, like literally I would have to dye my hair, change my eye color, change my skin color, like, then I can't get offended. But if someone that looks somewhat similar to you gets it over you, then yeah, you can be like, oh, like, you know, am I not good enough? But I think it definitely doesn't go away. However, you just have to constantly keep filling your mind with things like, people's opinion on the way that we look is very subjective. It depends on the mood the person was in, their life, what they think is beautiful, their life experiences, where they've come from in the world. You know, we as humans, we see things so differently. We see people so differently. My idea of what I find attractive could be completely different to my friend's idea. My idea of what I enjoy to wear or I think is fashionable could be the complete opposite of what my friend thinks. And that's totally fine. We all see beauty in our own way. What's the quote? Is it beauty is in the eye of the beholder? I'm not sure if that is even correct or if I've completely like shambled that up. But yeah, I feel like those are definitely points that you should always remember if you are in the industry, to not compare and to just remember that everyone's got their own way of seeing things. But do you become immune to it? No, you don't. It's an expectation. So yes, that is all for the video. This was so fun, you guys. I preferred this than like just sitting and talking and going through my notes on my phone. I know like I still had my phone, but it was like fun doing expectation versus reality. And it's like a different way to kind of give you guys some information about my opinions and stuff. So yeah, I really liked it. Maybe we'll do another round of this with a different topic. If you guys can think of any kinds of topics that you would want me to cover or anything in particular, please use the comment section to let me know. I really like hearing about what you guys kind of want to see on my channel, because I'm really new to this, so I'm like making it up as I go along and trying to find a voice that kind of wants to be heard by people as well. I do want to put a lot of time and effort into my YouTube channel, but I definitely want to I want it to be a part of my purpose, so it's almost like helping in some way. So if there is anything that I can do to help, or just anything that you guys would like to see, then that would really help me too. So let me know, and I'll see you guys in my next video.